Today we'll be talking about the most hated hero, Spider-Man. Now, first off, I must say I am a GM Spider-Man, so hold on. I have over 60 hours played, and I think I am pretty good myself. With that being said, whenever I hop on TikTok, tell me why my boy Spidey is always getting dogged on. I mean, come on, if you look at the numbers, Marvel Rivals just released the hero pick and win rates. And guess what? I bet you're going to be surprised. Where do you guys think Spider-Man sits? He sits in 5th place with a 51% win rate. Now, want me to tell you who that's higher than? Winter Soldier, Psylocke, and Wolverine. I bet you're a little surprised, so hang in there. Now, why does Spider-Man have the reputation he has? Personally, if you ask me, I think it's because he's just so hard to play. Now hold on, before y'all come at me, give me a chance to explain myself. Spider-Man has a 5-star rating, and he very much deserves that. I mean, come on now, you're jumping in the enemy's backline, and you have to use all your cooldowns to even dream of getting a single kill. Now, what does that connect to my original point? Now, let's say you have some mid Spider-Man players. They do exist. I will acknowledge that. Excuse me. So let's say this quote-unquote trash Spider-Man player isn't that good with his combos, and he just goes in the backlines and just throws, and he ends up going 2-7. We're not talking about those guys. We automatically know you're going to ask for them to switch and that they're throwing. That's granted. I understand the hate coming for that. But if you're playing good at Spider-Man and people just don't like to play Spider-Man because the damage numbers don't show how good Spider-Man is. Now, if you have super high damage, you're doing bad at Spider-Man. Now, hear me out. Damage does not equate to kills. Spider-Man, you should be looking at his final blows. Spider-Man doesn't have to go in there and do a whole bunch of damage to get a kill. He only has to press like 4 or 5 buttons, and if he does it correctly, he should get a kill. Now, positioning is very, very important when it comes to this. So basically, the triple support meta, Spider-Man plays terribly in that because with his low damage, 3 supports can all heal themselves. So now you'll ask yourself, why doesn't Spider-Man switch? You have to understand the mentality of Spider-Man players. It's because he's so much fun. I've had games in comp, this is when I was in lower ranks, where I was going negative, but I still had a great time. So I look at other players, and they might look at me and be like, yeah, you're throwing. Spider-Man's, and develop that reputation with Spider-Man players. And the more they play Marvel Rivals, they hold the same, like, what is it, prejudice. I mean, I'll tell you this, it's quite anecdotal, but I played Spider-Man, and granted, I insta-locked him. Someone literally looked me up on Marvel Rivals stat tracker and seen I had a 61 win percentage. And they're like, okay, bro, you're good. Keep playing Spider-Man. I was like, how did you know? And he said, oh, yeah, I just had to look you up. Every Spider-Man player we do like that. And I was like, whoa. I was like, anybody else? He said, no, just Spider-Man. So, and I was in a plat lobby. So I think to myself, Spider-Man has this terrible reputation. And I love playing Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man. The games, you know, Spidey, his movies, I am the man under the mask. That's how I feel. So if you ask me to switch, and I am doing good, I'm not switching. One of the main points I want to bring up is his high skill ceiling. When I say it is extremely hard to learn this character, I'd be lying. The character is semi-hard to learn. However, the problem is getting value out what you have learned. Now, you might pick up your Necro stream and watch him play and see him pop all the way off. I hate to break it to you, but you're just not there. You're not him. And I can say, I personally know a lot of Spider-Man techs, but I know the skill gap between Necros and I is just miles different. So I go to say that you're not that streamer. You're most likely not going to ever be that streamer. So I'll tell you this. Be proud of that 411 stat line, I guess. Or you can go into the practice range, practice some combos, look up some YouTube videos, and actually study a character. Because it's crazy because with how high his skill ceiling is, you're actually going to have to study how to play this character. I personally watched like a couple guides on positioning, aiming, combos, animation cancels, just a whole bunch of things to get good at Spider-Man. And then I didn't jump into comp. I'd spent about, let's say 20 hours and just QP alone training before I set off to comp. Now, granted, I did play comp in the middle because it was like bronze, and let's be honest, everybody's bad in bronze. But once you start getting up to that gold where most players are in, you're going to see a lot of change. So I played a lot of QP. And if QP you're throwing a Spider-Man, it's okay. It's quick play. So then you train up and you hop into comp. In conclusion, my friends, the hate for Spider-Man is overrated, and he's definitely overhated. He's a great hero. It just takes so much to get good value out of him, especially in the higher ranks. I'm in GM3, and you can argue if that's a high rank or not, but if we pull up the numbers, it's definitely your like top, I'd say like the top 95 percentile of the players. So I go on to say that is because Spider-Man is extremely difficult to play. And there are other characters, like 5 other characters, that have a higher win percentage. And the win percentage for Spider-Man does change between the ranks. So one would say, why don't you just pick up an easier hero and get arguably more value and an easier playstyle experience? Well, I answer that with some people want a challenge. And me personally, the reason it gravitated for Spider-Man, I played Lucio like crazy in Overwatch. And Lucio had a similar reputation of being a backline diver, never heal. And Spider-Man and Lucio are very much alike. So I enjoy the complexity of a hero. Someone like Punisher, we should be like, oh, it's easier to play. It just doesn't move me. If I want to play Punisher, I go play Call of Duty. I just like the extremely high movement and how versatile his kit is. You can play Spider-Man a lot of different ways. Except for Frontline. I must say, never, ever, ever play Frontline Spider-Man. With all these things being said, we have to remember one thing. Never put down the mask. Think about what Uncle Ben would think. Now, thank you for listening to my rant. Make sure you hit that follow button if you're on TikTok, and hit that subscribe button if you're on YouTube. You guys have an amazing day. Peace.